everyone.
Hi, everyone. My name is George. My name is Stillwater.
Hi, I'm George Don, and I'm the VP of Business Development for Giyani Metals. Giyani is a public company listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the ticker EMM, and we're developing one of the largest high-purity manganese sulfate projects in the world. High-purity manganese sulfate is a lithium-ion battery precursor material. It's used in the cathode for lithium-ion batteries deployed in electric vehicles, usually in combination with nickel and cobalt in the NMC formulation. Although this is a critical raw material for the future of the EV automotive industry, at the moment, around 95% of the processing capacity for high-purity manganese is located in China. And with demand expected to increase by around 10 to 15 times over the next decade, it's causing a significant problem for automotive and battery companies to source low-carbon, non-Chinese sources of supply for this particular battery raw material. We recently released the results of our feasibility study for our flagship Cahill project, based on an integrated scenario to produce around about 80,000 tons a year of high-purity sulfate from our high-grade oxide ore. This will be mined at the Cahill site and processed in-country to produce a finished product that is not only low carbon, but also meets the high quality specifications based on a portfolio of OEM and battery specs that we've received. The hydrometallurgical process, which we utilize in the processing facility, requires no calcination, it requires no energy-intensive electrorefining, which not only means that we are able to control our operating costs, but also we have one of the lowest footprints of carbon footprints of any high-purity manganese sulfate project globally. We recently released the results of our feasibility study for the Cahill project with a very robust NPV of over $480 million and a post-tax IRR of over 28%. But this doesn't include significant upside in the resource, where we still have a large number of inferred material still sitting in the Cahill ore body, as well as a number of additional prospects all within trucking distance of the main plant. The next 12 months will see a number of value catalysts as we continue to develop the project, starting with the demonstration plant, which is already in construction in Johannesburg in South Africa. This plant will be capable of producing around about 600 kilos a day of high purity sulfate for sending to the automotive and battery customers for qualification. We're expecting to have the plant commissioned and in production in the second half of 2023, and samples going out to customers in advance of binding offtake agreements. In addition, with the demonstration plant, we've already started the license permitting process with the drafting of an environmental and social application, which is expected to be submitted to the government in the early part of next year. Once the approval for that has been received, we will be able to proceed with the mine license application, and we are hopeful and expectant that during 2023, we will be fully permitted to start operation at the Cahill site. So the next year is looking to be an extremely attractive year for Giyani, and we're hoping that you will be following the story, and please feel free to send any questions to us at info@giyanimetals.com, and we're looking forward to updating you with our progress as we continue to develop Cahill.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into Barsele Minerals' presentation today. My name is Alicia Ford, and I'm the Business Development Manager at the Belcara Group. So you're probably going to hear from me twice today on both Barsele and Silver Viper, but right now I'm going to focus on walking you through the highlights of Barsele. So as I mentioned, Barsele is part of the Belcara Group, which is comprised of technical and capital markets professionals in the mining industry with over 150 years of combined experience. Our model focuses on exploration, and given the structure of our group, we're able to draw on the knowledge of our 3 in-house senior geologists to identify opportunities to discover and develop quality exploration projects that maximize shareholder value. Given our team's network, we're continuously receiving and reviewing new projects for Barsele and our other companies, Oryx and Silver Viper. The Belcara Group is the same team recognized for the discovery of Orco Silver's La Preciosa deposit in Durango, Mexico. The project began as a grassroots project by our team, which they then proved up the resource to over 270 million ounces and ultimately sold in a bidding war to Core Mining for over $350 million. So Barsele Minerals Corp is a Canadian junior mineral exploration company whose sole asset is the advanced stage Barsele Gold project, a joint venture with Agnico Eagle Mines Limited. Ownership in the Barsele project is 55% Agnico and 45% Barsele for now. Agnico Eagle is the operator and can earn an additional 15% in the Barsele project through the completion of a pre-feasibility study. There is no cash outlay requirement by Barsele until a pre-feasibility study is completed. So the Barsele project itself is situated in the mining region of Västerbotten, northern Sweden, 600 kilometers north of Stockholm, and it covers 33,500 hectares in the Fennoscandian Shield. The Barsele project is located on the western end of the Proterozoic Skellefteå Trend, a prolific volcanogenic massive sulfide deposits belt that intersects with the gold line in northern Sweden. Both polymetallic VMS deposits and intrusive hosted orogenic gold deposits are present in this region and on this property. Current and past producers in the region include Boliden, Christianberg, to name a few. The main gold-bearing system remains open in all directions. The structurally linked gold mineralized lodes occur mainly within a granodiorite host and, to a lesser extent, volcanic and sedimentary rocks. The Avon Central Shearson zones have a strike length approaching 3.6 kilometers, and that same northwest trending structural corridor does contain localized bodies with gold mineralization over an additional 4.4 kilometers. The drill-tested depth of the mineralized system approaches 1 kilometer and remains open. Gold is generally associated with arsenopyrite and low base metal content, but also occurs as a native metal. Since Agnico Eagle became the operator of the project in late 2015, a total of 162,691 meters of overburden penetration and core collection has been tabulated from a total of 433 drill holes. A significant portion of Agnico's drilling was focused on defining, verifying, and expanding the mineral resources within the Avon Central Shearson orogenic gold system. Much of the drill meterage was primarily focused on the discovery of massive sulfide mineralization that is hosted in the rocks of volcanic and sedimentary composition, along with post-mineral intrusive dikes and sills. The historic Nora VMS deposit within the claims is an example of this style of mineralization. In the interest of time, I won't be able to dive deep into the mineralization and drilling highlights, but I strongly suggest you check them out after the presentation at barseleminerals.com in the project section. We also have excellent metallurgy on this project, so please go check that out. In our 2019 resource, indicated resources increased by 67% to 324,000 ounces, up from 193,000 ounces in 2018, and inferred resources increased by 46% to 2.08 million ounces of gold, up from 1.4 million ounces back in 2018. The main gold deposit remains open along strike and to depth. Considerable further drilling is necessary internal to the main zone, as well as peripheral expansion along strike and to depth. What was not included in the resource estimate was a discovery at Risberget target 3 kilometers southeast of the Shearson zone, the Nora polymetallic VMS deposit, a possible resource at newly discovered Baskatrask, and bonanza veins under the resource at Avon, so there is significant value in updating the resource. So what are our near-term plans? We will continue to explore the property with the highly skilled team that we have on site. Over the next 1 to 1.5 years, we would like to drill a minimum of 30,000 meters. The drill bit emphasis in the near term will be to grow the gold resource. We will work toward an additional 2.5 million ounces to create a near-term inventory of 3.5 million gold ounces. We work to maintain high standards of health, safety, and environment on site, and to continue exploration planning with the Sami people and maintaining positive relations with Mining Inspectorate and other governments, and to maintain all QA and QC protocols. Environmental surveys and water testing are ongoing. We will focus on adding continuity to the high-grade drill results of the Avon zone, additional drill testing at the recently discovered Baskatrask, and plans for drill testing the most compelling VMS targets. We will also continue with base of till drilling, geophysics, MEFA, and XRF sampling. Our long terms with Barsele is to advance it to the point where a significant and reputable miner acquires a project with plans to develop it. By increasing the resource, we will provide value for shareholders and attractiveness to majors. So in summary, we have a high quality asset in a top mining jurisdiction. There is a lot of blue sky potential and strong management and shareholder support, with management and board owning approximately 25% and institutions holding about 50%. We have free carried interest, top tier metallurgy, and leverage to gold price, and this makes us a very attractive takeover candidate. It's a great time to get to know the story, and I encourage you to check out our website at barsele-minerals.com or to reach out to me directly at info@barsele-minerals.com. Thank you for watching.
Last year, Stillwater Critical Minerals debuted an inaugural resource estimate of 1.1 billion pounds of nickel, copper, and cobalt, and 2.4 million ounces of palladium, platinum, rhodium, and gold at our Stillwater West project in Montana's iconic Stillwater district. This is a significant addition to the U.S. inventory of these metals, and we're doing it at a time when the U.S. government has listed 8 of our commodities as being critical and are releasing unprecedented funding and support to secure domestic supplies of exactly these commodities. Of course, the Stillwater district has produced critical minerals historically since the 1800s, so we're effectively bringing a third wave of critical mineral supply to this iconic American district. Our work this year very much focused on expanding those resources, and we see terrific potential to do exactly that. If you followed our news releases through the year, we've basically laid out the basis for that expansion with intercepts of up to 13.2 meters of 2.3% nickel, plus other values, copper, cobalt, palladium, platinum, rhodium, gold. And that result is 9 kilometers from percent level nickel across the project. So we have 5 deposits across the 9-kilometer core offering percent levels of these critical minerals. Terrific potential to expand these. We completed a program of 100-meter step-outs, and we certainly see the potential to keep doing that. If you dig a little deeper, you find that we did a IP survey, induced polarization survey, across the 12-kilometer core of the project. And those 5 deposits are nestled very nicely within very large bodies of chargeable and conductive rock that are indicative of large bodies of sulfide mineralization. So this is all adding up very nicely. More broadly across the 32-kilometer span of the project, very high levels of metals in soils, and that will guide our way in expanding the project further in subsequent years. Key point in guiding the expansion of the project is the additions to the team we made this year, which is the second exciting thing that I want to report. We added Dr. Danny Grobler, formerly chief geologist of Ivanhoe's Platte Reef project, and Mr. Albie Britz, senior geologist, to our team. Danny is now our vice president exploration, and that Platte Reef expertise, explain in a second why that's so important, is expected to guide our further expansion as we apply these South African very large mine models to this iconic district in Montana. The Platte Reef model is correct. We are located adjacent to Sibanyé's very high-grade JM Reef deposit, 100 million ounces of the highest-grade palladium platinum in the world, also copper, nickel values as well. We are stratigraphically below that, and that is the correct place for these Platte Reef deposit models, and that's essentially what we're bringing to the district. Bulk mineable nickel, copper, sulfide, plus those other metals in new thinking applied to a district that has now provided, in fact, even our claims have provided critical mineral production historically. Seems like a good place to build a mine, and we're excited about the potential to grow this. In addition, we're looking at CO2 sequestration, carbon sequestration at Stillwater, and you'll see the news releases upcoming in that regard as well. Touching briefly on our other 2 assets, we have 2 other district scale projects, both 100% owned. The Ontario project is now subject to an earn-in agreement with Heritage Mining. We're very pleased with the work they're doing, very happy to have that exposure to the high-grade gold space. They've just completed the first anniversary of the agreement and issued shares and cash under that, and we're delighted with their progress on that great asset. In the Yukon, we also have another nickel copper PGE project. That's the Kluane project. It adjoins Nickel Creek Platinum, and we are indeed looking for and in discussions towards monetizing that asset in a way similar to the Ontario project. Key catalysts coming up, in summary: results from the 2022 programs, including rhodium results and drill core results of field programs. That resource update is the big one for the year, and I'm pleased to report that that is on track as an objective for 2022. Beyond that, look for announcements on our plans for 2023 as we work towards our vision of becoming a primary source of low-carbon critical minerals in the U.S. at a time when the U.S. is looking for exactly these commodities. Thank you. Feel free to reach out anytime, and have a good season.
Hi, I'm Mike Dore, President and CEO of Lavras Gold Corporation. We are a Canadian exploration company operating in southern Brazil near the border with Uruguay. Lavras has just over 41 million shares outstanding and trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol LGC. In late November, we were trading about 40 cents a share Canadian, giving us a market capitalization of about 16 million. Lavras was formed in the spring of 2022 when Hochschild's Mining acquired our predecessor company, Amarillo Gold. We launched in April with just under $10 million in cash, a royalty on exploration ground from Amarillo, and our flagship asset, the LDS project. LDS, which spans over 22,000 hectares, has at least 23 gold showings from historic workings on the property in an area with great infrastructure. We launched with 500,000 National Instrument 43101 gold ounces in the Butia deposit, which was one of 23 showings. After launch, we doubled our consolidated resources to 1 million ounces when we released our report on the Cerrito deposit, another one of the 23 showings. We've also announced 2 gold discoveries at 2 more of the showings, Zekasuza and Matilji. So if you're counting, that means we've established gold deposits at 4 out of our 23 known gold showings on the property, and we've only just begun. We are very excited about the potential of LDS. We think LDS is an intrusive hosted alkaline gold system with epithermal and porphyry characteristics. These types of systems can be quite large, with bulk tonnage grades at the outer portions of the system and higher grades as you get closer to the source of the system. Analogs for LDS may include Barrick's Gold and Sunlight Mine in Montana, which produced 3.4 million ounces of gold, Barrick's Porgera Mine in Papua New Guinea, which has resources of 26.3 million ounces of gold, Newmont's Cripple Creek Mine, which has resources of about 26 million ounces of gold, and Newcrest's Cadia Hill Mine, which produces about 500,000 ounces of gold annually. We have 2 drills turning at site now, pursuing a 16,000-meter drilling program, and our goal is simple: to realize the potential of this multi-million ounce gold district in southern Brazil. With 6.6 million in cash, we have the necessary capital to realize our short-term goals. We also have a royalty on the exploration ground at Mara Rosa in central Brazil, where Hochschild's is building the Posse Gold Mine, and has said they expect to be in production in the first half of 2024. While our royalty does not cover the Posse pit, it does cover everything else, including targets along the Posse gold trend, which are expected to feed the mill once the mine is up and running. So this has the potential for near-term value creation. With our consolidated resources of 1 million ounces of gold, the Mara Rosa royalty, and our exploration success to date, we think we offer a compelling investment opportunity at a low-cost entry point. Our strategy going forward is to continue to drill at LDS as we maintain a disciplined approach to our capital structure, and future catalysts will be the result from our ongoing exploration program. We are led by a team that unites exploration experience with capital markets acumen, so we believe that we have the right people for the right project at the right time. We are listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol LGC, and you can follow us at Lavras Gold on LinkedIn and Twitter, and on our website, lavrasgold.com. Thanks for watching.
Good day. Thank you for the opportunity of meeting virtually like this, giving me the opportunity to talk about the Hasbrook Gold Project. I'm CEO of West Vault Mining. My name is Sandy McVeigh. I'm showing my phone number there, my cell number. If there are any people who want to talk directly with me about the project and the company, please take a note of that and call me. So I have a very short time to talk about a lot of things. I'm going to keep it down to as few as possible. But first thing is, as the name implies, we are a gold vault. We have the gold. We're not an explorer. It's not speculative. We don't have to drill. We know we have the gold in the ground, hence the vault imagery. And we're also not going to be a builder of mines. First of all, I'm going to be doing some cautionary forward-looking statements. Please be aware of the cautionary wording around those. Let's talk about what we do with this very fine project. It's the strategy that makes you the money as much as the project. It's what you do with the project. So our strategy is very simply, we hold the gold. We've advanced this project since we bought it in 2014 to being construction ready, fully permitted. We're not going to take it further. We've added value. One day the market will perceive that value and we'll have done our job for our shareholders. Our chairman, Peter Palmetto, he's president of Sun Valley Gold, a major gold fund. He's 46% owner of this company. He bought it because he likes it. And he wants to make the point that you can make more money by not building than by building. The gold in the ground, in his words, it is more leveraged and less expensive than owning gold bullion or an ETF. It's a smart, low-risk strategy. Rick Rule, an early investor, he likes our strategy as well. He says, you got to be tolerant of boredom, but I am if the alternative is terror, by which he means the terror of trying to construct a mine and going bust. Tom Kaplan, you make money when you sell something at a high price, not when you put it into production. The value proposition, I'm going to zip through here. We've got 3 parameters here which indicate we're undervalued. Please go to our website and look at the presentation for more detail on this. I don't have time to go through this, but we believe there's good evidence that we have upside potential. Highly leveraged gold price. The higher the gold price goes, we get multiples on the increase of the internal rate of return. About the company itself, we've got 660 million shares or so out, no warrants, few options, market capitalization, as I said, of about 35-40 million US today. The team is outstanding. Blue Ribbon team, seasoned mining professionals I'm proud to be working with. And who owns us? 76% held by high-quality institutions and insiders. Sun Valley Gold at 46, Rough Round of UK at 17, Eric Sprott at 5, and so on. All of these people have investigated, looked at it, and said, I like this. This is a safe investment. This is not speculation. I'm in. The project itself, I'm going to just give you this one page. Please come back to me if you want to find out more about it. First of all, the status. Key permits in hand, construction ready. Economically robust at $1,500 gold, 65% internal rate of return after tax. NPV 5% discount rate after tax, $1,500 gold, 200 million US. Again, I emphasize our market cap today is between 30 and 40 million US. All-in sustaining cost, about $700 on the most recent study we've done. Again, you can take that away from the price of gold and see there is a very, very substantial margin on this property. The recoverable gold is about 600,000 ounces. That'll give you about 70,000 ounces a year for 8 years. It's safe. The geology, the metallurgy, and the mining have all been well tested. We've got over 600 boreholes in the property. It's all oxide, all above the water table, low strip ratio. Metallurgy, we've had over 13 test programs and an average of 76% recovery from a heap leach. So closing, 3 thoughts if I can leave with you. We are not a junior exploration company. We're a safe developer who have a high-quality project which will get re-rated in the fullness of time. We are undervalued, we believe. We have room to grow for a patient, value-minded investor, and we are not going to deviate from that strategy. With that, I thank you. I look forward to meeting with you virtually one day.
My name is Kevin Brewer, President and CEO of CMC Metals Limited. I'm talking to you today from Mines and Money UK. Great conference. We've met lots of capital people here, and so it's been a good opportunity for us. But let's get into business here. So I have no news right now on Silver Heart. We haven't got the assays in. So I'm going to focus on what we're going to do in 2023, because we've made some decisions in that already. Here we are. We got a project called Silverknife. We bought that to drill ready stage over the last couple of years. Here it is. Sorry for the glare, but I will have these posted on the website. So the property is outlined in the black here. And what's important really, first of all, I selected that property a couple of years ago to acquire simply because it's literally 1 kilometer away from the Silvertip mine that's owned by Corp mining, and it's one of the highest grade silver, lead, zinc deposits in the world, and so a great area. Now we all know those type of deposits that we're seeking, called CRDs, they come in clusters, and so we've already found that Silvertip themselves have found another deposit at Camp Creek West recently, and they announced that it has some of the highest grade intersections that they've had. Now, when we acquired this property, we had some good information. We knew, of course, the proximity thing, but the other aspect was we had good geochemistry on the property. We knew the geology was in the same geology that was the host to the Silvertip mine deposit, which is the McName limestone, and then we also knew that it had road access, which is very important in these areas because, of course, we got the mine road right here, and we're only literally 2 kilometers off that mine road, and as the roads go, we're only 5 kilometers away from the Silvertip mill. All great stuff for future development and things like that. So what did we do? We did some more homework, as we usually do, and we flew airborne on the property, and we from that we identified. Sorry about the noise in the background. We identified conductors. From that, then we knew that Corp themselves were taking that information and doing what they call a gravity survey. And I'm going to flick this around this way now. And so here we are. We have a gravity anomaly on the project. It's in the northern part of the property. It's fairly large, so that's about 200 meters. So you've got a very sizable gravity anomaly here, and what's important about that is gravity measures density, and minerals like lead and zinc are very dense. So you want to have a gravity anomaly, and that can be only explained mostly by the fact that you would assume after that base metals are in that thing, because it's so much heavier in this part here, so much more denser. Something is down there that's very dense. So we're going to drill that off this summer and explore for those lead and zinc minerals. And of course, the good thing about this area is that the silver carries along with that. The other thing, I'm going to flick the screen just a little bit here again. So here's Silvertip mine, and it looks like it's actually in the gray, but the mine itself is hosted. This is the surface geology. The mine itself is hosted in this blue, the McName limestone. The McName limestone extends onto our property in the southern part, but here it's in the northern part. And the beauty is there's a big thrust that is right here, and that's your heat. That's your heat. There's a thrust on the granite, and the granite provides the heat for those hot fluids that drive those minerals into that limestone. So beautiful area, beautiful setting for this deposit. We've got to investigate the southern part. So the gravity anomaly that's here is actually right in that area of the thrust, right where you would want it, and a perfect setting. So we're going to put 10 holes or more into that, about 3,000 meters this year, and we're going to do that, and we'll probably start drilling around July. So I want you to look up the website, and we'll have this all posted. We'll have my presentation that I'm going to give here, and we'll have these slides. Take a look at them. This is a great project, and we're really excited about it. Check us out, www.cmcmetals.ca, and also our symbol is TSXVCMB, and we're also on OTC.
Hi, my name is Dale Veron. I'm the CEO for Fortune Bay Corp, and I'm going to give you 3 reasons to invest in Fortune Bay Corp. And that's quite easy because we have 3 sets of assets that are really attractive. The first being our Goldfields gold project in northern Saskatchewan. We've just released a PEA for that project. Production of around 100,000 ounces per annum, NPV after tax of 285 million Canadian dollars, and an after-tax IRR of 35.2%, showing tremendous upside as the gold price moves higher. That project is really benefits from a high rate of return, a low initial capex, a really competitive all-in sustaining cost, as well as a relatively short payback period. It has some other unique benefits to it in terms of the infrastructure on site, which includes a power line. It's near the town of Uranium City. It also has a valid development permit for the project that's going to really expedite the timeline toward construction and operations. Stay tuned. We're going to be looking to advance that project and really an exciting gold development in a top-ranked jurisdiction globally. The second reason is our uranium projects. Being in Saskatchewan and near the edge of the Athabasca Basin, at our gold project, we have started to advance 2 uranium projects, and they have the potential for these high-grade deposits associated with the Athabasca Basin. I was formerly involved with Denison Mines as their VP exploration for 5 years, and with them was involved with the team in making some discoveries. We've pulled part of our team at Fortune Bay has also uranium experience, and using that and our operating base for our gold project, we've started to advance these uranium opportunities. This year, we did some initial drilling. It was a first pass drilling on some regional targets across our 2 uranium properties, and saw just what we wanted to see in terms of the right geological ingredients for these Athabasca Basin high-grade deposits. And that included these graphitic rocks, lots of structure, alteration in that structure, and we saw elevated radioactivity in multiple drill holes. We're waiting for our final assay geochemistry results, and it's going to be on that basis we're going to plan some follow-up drilling for those projects, and looking forward to advancing those in 2023. The third reason is our asset in Mexico. It's an exceptional geological setting. It has a historical resource on it of around 1 million ounces measured and indicated gold resources, around 700,000 ounces gold inferred resources. That's in an open pittable target, open for expansion. There are numerous other gold targets on the property that warrant further investigation, as well as copper potential that hasn't been looked at before. The project is in a very unique geological setting with a huge porphyry system at depth, allowing for opportunities on the porphyry side, as well as skarn deposits associated with these limestone rocks, particularly in the northern part of the property. That project, it's southern Mexico. It does require some social programs to be effective, to get access. We believe it can be done. It's been done before, and looking forward to advancing that project as a pipeline asset or a potential spin-out asset to unlock value. Finally, experienced board and management team. Our capital structure really tightly held, just 43 million shares outstanding, with 15% owned by board and management, really strong alignment with shareholders. Our market cap, just $13 million, lots of potential upside there and opportunity for re-rating. Now is the time to follow Fortune Bay, and please feel free to get in touch if you'd like any further details. Our ticker is FOR on the TSX Ventures Exchange. We also trade in Frankfurt under the symbol 5QN, and on the OTCQX in the US, FTBYF. Stay tuned.
This is Ernest Mast, President and CEO of Dore Copper Mining Corp. The company represents a unique investment opportunity in the metal space. We have a district-scale opportunity in the Chibougamau mining camp, whereby we have rights for exploration for 13 different past-producing mines. Our principal deposit is the Corner Bay deposit with 8.5 million tons at 3.2% copper and 0.28 grams per ton gold. It also has silver and moly. Another deposit we have is the Joman mine. It produced 1.2 million ounces of gold over its life, closing in 2007, with a lot of exploration potential in the area and in the district. In addition, we have the Devlin deposit. This has 1.2 million tons at 2% copper. We also have the Cedar Bay deposit, which has 360,000 tons at 1.92% copper and 8.7 grams per ton gold. And there's a number of other exploration opportunities that we have in the camp. This opportunity for high-grade copper and high-grade gold is pretty unique. And on top of that, we are located in Quebec. Quebec is definitely one of the best mining jurisdictions in the world. It is definitely the best mining jurisdiction for development companies, as there are a number of government-related funds that become shareholders of the company. In addition, the permitting process for exploration and eventually for operations is clear, well understood by the government, the companies, and the consulting community. In addition, Quebec, especially the northern part, it's well known for its mining, and mining projects have very good social acceptability. A second point related to the company is that we have infrastructure in place. The Chibougamau mining camp operated for approximately 50 years, and during that time, a number of mines were developed and all the infrastructure is in place. So, for instance, we're only 10 kilometers away from the town of Chibougamau. It's a town of 7,500 people that actually got its start as a mining town. In the region, we have rail, road, and airline connectivity to other parts of Quebec and Canada. The mines themselves, having been in operation, already have shafts or ramps to give underground access. We have a mill and we have a tailings facility. There's road access to all of the deposits and power supply to most of the deposits as well. That gives us what we call an infrastructure advantage. So therefore, in order to advance our projects and eventually when they go into operation, we can take advantage of the proximity of the town of Chibougamau and the existence of infrastructure that will result in lower capital and operating costs. Finally, we have delivered on a PEA study earlier this year. The PEA outlines production of 53 million pounds per year of copper equivalent over 10.5 years at an operating cost of $2.24 per pound and with an initial capital cost of $180 million Canadian. That's much lower an initial capital cost than most copper projects. That PEA study really represents a point in time for the company because we fully expect to have more exploration success in the camp, and therefore we could either add more production annually or we can add more years to the mine life. Our intention is to continue to explore the camp, continue to identify and drill out high-grade copper gold deposits, and continue to build out our business plan. Thank you very much for listening to this talk and hope to have you as an investor shortly.
Hi there, I'm Jamie Levy, President and Chief Executive Officer of Generation Mining. I'm here to discuss Generation Mining's Marathon Palladium project. We are developing the next critical metal mine in Ontario, Canada. Generation Mining just recently got approved, received environmental assessment approval from the federal and provincial governments. But let me flash back to 3 years ago when we acquired the Marathon Palladium Copper Project from Sibanye Stillwater. Since that time, we put out a resource report, a preliminary economic assessment, and we put out a feasibility study in 2021 where we showed economics of $1 billion NPV, 30% IRR, and that was using consensus pricing at that time, which is $1,725 palladium and $3.20 copper. Since that time, again, we negotiated an impact benefit agreement, or as we like to call it, a community benefit agreement with our partners Bitigan and Schnabeg. And again, we put out, we got approved by the government to start our permitting process, which we hope we could have the initial permits complete in the March of the first or second quarter of 2023, so we could begin construction. Meanwhile, since with doing those permits, we're also working on our detailed engineering. And detailed engineering, we're about 30% complete. We want to get to close to 60 or 70% complete before we start construction. The next thing we're also working on is our project financing. During last year, we secured a $240 million stream from Wheaton Precious Metals, the largest streaming company in the world. We've drawn down a $40 million of that so far. The remaining 200 million Canadian will come on the start of construction. We are also negotiating through our bankers, Endeavour Financial out of London, to help get some project financing through a syndicate of commercial banks. And so far we have indicative interest of $400 million US, which at the lead is the Export Development Corporation of Canada. Our hope is that we can have term sheets signed, if not by the end of 2022, first quarter of 2023. After that, we are hopeful that we can raise the remaining project financing in 2023. So again, we could begin early works in the first or second quarter, and major construction in the third quarter of 2023. Just as a background to where we are in the north shore of Lake Superior, outside of the town of Marathon, who is very supportive of this project. We have 2 power lines intersecting our project. We have a road right to our project. We have an airport. The power is carbon-free, nuclear from Southern Ontario. And we do have a partnership or an agreement with our Bitigan and Schnabeg, our First Nation group that borders the southern end of our project here. So this is very good infrastructure, and we're very excited to be building the next critical metal mine in North America, if not the world. We are getting support from the federal and provincial governments, and I think this is the time to be looking at this project, because we will be producing just over 147,000 ounces of palladium a year, 35 million pounds of copper a year, and 41,000 ounces of platinum per year. That works out to 245,000 ounces of palladium equivalent a year over a 13-year mine life, which is our reserves. It is a big project. Property is 220 square kilometers. And the feasibility study and our EA is only based on the Marathon project, which is a small footprint around the whole project. So there is a bunch of exploration potential and upside to this project. Needless to say, again, we are excited by what we have in the Marathon project, but the upside for other critical metals resources are on our project, and we're just focusing on right now of getting the Marathon project developed, and then we'll start to do some exploration elsewhere along the trend that we have, and we hope that we could have a lot more than what we have in our feasibility study right now. But just want to thank everybody for listening, and happy holidays.